This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. Breaking news today as U.S. troops have just entered Poland. In today's video, we're going to break this down for you, what this means during this transitional period from the Obama administration to President-elect Donald Trump's administration. Just like the German invasion of Poland kicking off World War II, the U.S. now entering Poland could very well spark World War III. Of course, there could be a diplomatic change with Russia once Trump takes over, but until then, the Obama administration, along with the deep state, seem to be doing everything in their power right now to provoke World War III right at the 11th hour. Around 3,500 American soldiers just rolled into Poland yesterday as an apparent deterrent against Russia. Poland's prime minister is acting as if his country's just been liberated. He and the defense minister are planning on welcoming the U.S. soldiers with a ceremony that they're going to host tomorrow, this Saturday. Michael Baranowski, director of the German Marshall Fund think tank in Warsaw, said this is the fulfillment of a dream, and this is not just a symbolic presence, but one with a real capability. Yeah, a real capability to nuke us back to the Stone Age. Ever since the fall of the USSR, and especially since the rise of Putin, the US and other Western nations under NATO have been inching closer and closer to Russia's borders. This violates agreements that were made in the early 90s which respected Russia's sphere of influence. Of course, you can't rely on the corporate state fake news to get any of the real information on this. They're just inflating fears and creating boogeymen. Organizations like the Washington Post and the New York Times and CNN have completely lost all credibility. Because whether it was the 2003 war in Iraq or just sweeping under the rug of the 2008 financial crisis and blaming everything on the free markets, or even praising the Federal Reserve, whatever it is, when they say that Russia is the problem, you know the opposite is true. But of course, guys, statists are always going to state, and the Russians are not just going to take this U.S. aggression lying down. They've recently deployed missiles to Kaliningrad, the Russian territory between Lithuania and Poland. President Vladimir Putin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, just said on Thursday, "These actions threaten our interests, our security, especially as it concerns a third party building up its military presence near our borders. It's not even a European state." Poland has historically been the middleman when it comes to wars and these negotiations. When Hitler invaded in 1939, it sparked the Second World War. Afterwards, Stalin promised not to continue moving east if he was able to keep Poland communist. But hopefully, guys, this Cold War is going to stay cold for at least another week, until President-elect Donald Trump is sworn in next week as president. But as viewers of this channel know, presidents are just media-centric puppets who are there for a much larger agenda. An all-out war with Russia may be less likely with Trump than it would have been with Clinton, but we always have to ask the question, who benefits? A Russian-friendly U.S. foreign policy led by this polarizing reality television star as president very well could be this catalyst that is necessary for other Western nations to kick in this new world order and launch the global military, the global centralized bank, and the global police state. And when Trump is eventually ousted from power and the US dollar ceases to be the reserve currency of the world, the U.S. community is going to rejoin the world community, as it were, and embrace a global government with open arms. But until then, despite Polish fears of Russian invasion or the welcoming of U.S. troops, NATO aggression in Eastern Europe is not going to end well for anybody. But over the next week, as we lead up to the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump, we are going to be covering this extensively right here on this channel, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and check the links in the description to find out how you can support our efforts here by donating or becoming a PFT patron. And stay tuned, guys, we're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.